Good evening, and if it, ugh. Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on StreamYard and YouTube today. Hello, friends. Your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Florio here. Yes, we are on good old MF Michael Fletcher's channel, Brace Fan 95, this evening because of very serious technical difficulties beyond my control. We should have done this last night, really, but we thought maybe the issue was going to be resolved, but unfortunately, it has not been resolved. For what reason, I do not know. So, because of this, we are broadcasting on good old MF Michael Fletcher's channel, Brace Fan 95, this evening. Hopefully, all will be right very soon. If not, then I'm probably going to have to keep joining shows like this for the foreseeable future. So, but StreamYard.com on my end, on my laptop, has been infected via URL phishing. And that's the problem. And I am hopeful that the issue will be resolved ASAP. I emailed StreamYard. I have not gotten a response. I'm guessing it's because the issue has not been resolved yet. So I do apologize to all of you out there for the inconvenience. And I am hopeful that, all will be right soon enough. So let's get down to business here this evening. It's going to be myself and MF this evening. I'm not sure about Michael Bullock. He's probably out somewhere late, as usual. I do know Dee Woodson is not joining us this evening either because of health reasons, but she should be back with us next week. So with all that being said, let's dive on in to last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, which was live from the newly named Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio, the home of the Cavaliers. And we started it off with an in-ring segment, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and he was talking about the big match at Crown Jewel, Team Hogan versus Team Flair. And he introduced the fifth and final member of his team, and it ended up being Drew McIntyre. Great pickup there. And then it led into a match, Drew McIntyre squaring off against Ricochet. Drew McIntyre wins the match 17 minutes and 40 seconds via a Claymore kick. This was the fight of the night, hands down. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. This was a very strong match. I'm surprised they didn't bring McIntyre back with a more dominant win over an inferior opponent, but I'm not complaining. The post-match beatdown was heavy enough that it left me wondering if they are writing Ricochet out of the Crown Jewel match for some reason. Here's hoping that there's a real creative plan for Drew McIntyre in place this time around. Great to see him back. He's been out with injury for some time. And what a fantastic matchup here. And the promo segment was very well done as well. So a fantastic start to last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. Well done. Great promo, even better match. So 4.25, 4.5, fight of the night for me, hands down. So nothing more to say. MF, Drew McIntyre is back, and he is back with a vengeance.
And you know what? He's worthy of that first round draft pick. As many of you guys know, Drew McIntyre was selected number 5 overall in the first round of the 2019 WWE draft that went down last week on SmackDown. And a lot of people were wondering, why was Drew drafted that high? Now it looks like we found out the reason why. They're about to push this guy to the moons and the stars, and who knows what they're going to do. I mean, this was a solid promo done by Ric Flair. I think he did a good job. kind of was not perfect with his delivery. He was kind of all over the place with it, but he seemed it good to certain points. But the match itself, absolutely, fight of the night, 4.5 stars for me, and it was a great way to start. I'm a little surprised that they took Ricochet out, or took him out the way that they did. I think that was a shocking turn of events. But at the end of the day, it served its purpose. They wanted McIntyre to look really good. Did that? Check. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But I'm a little concerned that they might have just took out Ricochet in the process, and that's really a little bit of a bad news if you think about it. I don't know how that's gonna get rectified. I guess we're gonna have to wait 1 week from Thursday as Crown Jewel happens in Saudi Arabia on Halloween afternoon. So we'll wait and see what happens. But until then, Anthony, it's yours.
And then we had Aleister Black squaring off against the Hammernager by the name of Jason Reynolds. Aleister Black squashes him in 1 minute and 45 seconds. It was good to see Black use the Black Mass kick. He's been working in a submission finisher lately, and I like that. But I was concerned that they were doing away with the Black Mass for some reason. Thankfully, not the case here. So that's all I can say on that. Then we had the King's Court, Jerry the King Lawler with his guest Rusev, and then they cut to Bobby Lashley and Lana at some restaurant. So that's all I can say on that. That was not any good. I mean, this is a pointless and unnecessary feud. I have not been a fan of the angle since it started. It's already at the point to go away, and this is far and away the worst thing on Monday Night Raw nowadays. So the sooner we can get this done and over with, the better. That's all I can say on that. So don't care. Move on. Now something better. We had Andrade with the sexy Zelina Vega squaring off against Sin Cara. I didn't even know Sin Cara still had a job there. It's been so long since we've seen him. But nonetheless, Andrade goes over in 12 minutes with a little help from Zelina with her Hurricanrana. And then Andrade with the Hammerlock DDT for the win. So MF, an MF special here. Andrade, Sin Cara. Wow, El Idolo.
Yeah, impressive in his Monday Night Raw debut. Very good match, solid fight. And Sin Cara, you got to give credit where credit's due. A lot of people were wondering, what's Sin Cara, what's his role going to be? It looks like he's going to be an enhancement talent to put over some of the other guys on Raw. But, to put El Idolo, Andrade over, good solid fight. I could give this about maybe 3 stars. I thought this was a good matchup, solid to say the very least. And I love the aspect because of the fact that these two men are really well known in Mexico. So this was definitely a very good style luchador type fight that we got to see here on Monday Night Raw. Not many people get to see that kind of style of wrestling. You got to see it on full display on Monday. So good solid fight, 3 stars for me. Florio, it's all yours, my friend.
Yeah, solid 3. Well-worked match. So yeah, I mean, that's really all I can say on it. I mean, solid action. But Sin Cara, man, I mean, he's been so damaged over the years, and Andrade kind of looks weak for needing outside interference from Zelina and taking 12 minutes to beat him. But all that aside, it was a very well-worked match. And I agree with MF's rating without a doubt. Solid 3 for that effort, no question about it. So let's move on. Another cutout match here. Our new Raw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders. They squash former champions in their own right, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Knocked them out in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's really all I can say on that. Cutout, really. And then we had Rey Mysterio Rey Mysterio cuts a promo, interrupted by Paul Heyman, and then they have a nice back and forth, and then Shelton Benjamin comes out. I'm like, okay, I don't know where this is heading, but now we have a backstory. Shelton Benjamin, as you all know, is actually one of the few people that can say that is actually a friend of Brock Lesnar. I mean, I didn't even know we had friends, but okay. But nonetheless, there is a history with Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar. Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar were roommates at the University of Minnesota way back when. And they went up and down the road together. So I can definitely understand that aspect for Shelton Benjamin to be out there. And then all of a sudden he runs his mouth, he gets in Ray's face. And then all of a sudden Cain Velasquez shows up, and Cain Velasquez pretty much puts a whooping on Shelton Benjamin. This was a great way this was the segment of the night for me. I mean, Ray was solid on the mic, but Shelton Benjamin, give it up for him. I thought he was better in his role as the tormentor. I liked Benjamin in the bully role while it lasted. Cain Velasquez did not get the type of reaction you would want for a guy challenging for the WWE Championship, which he will when he challenges Brock Lesnar for that title at the Crown Jewel. Other than that, Ray was good. Shelton Benjamin, that was one of his best mic performances in a while. Heyman, money as usual. But that's all there is to say on that. This was a great way to hype the Lesnar and Velasquez title match, even though that should be more of a SmackDown thing than on Raw. But then again, Ray is a Raw guy, so it does make sense, I guess. So, but nonetheless, segment of the night came out great. Well done. So, nothing more to say. MF, everybody was great, but for me, Shelton Benjamin, I think, was the real MVP, in the words of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I think the way that he cut it, the promo, everything that was going on, I thought it was pretty solid. I really got nothing more to say. I thought it was a good way to start. And yeah, no, you absolutely made a very good, valid point there. There's really nothing more, at least for me, to say. I thought this was a solid start, and yeah, good match. Cain Velasquez looks good. He does have a little bit of some wrestling in his blood because of what he's done in the past when it comes to what he's done in in AAA, but mainly in UFC. If you got to see him in Triple Mania, which was AAA's WrestleMania, he looked really good in that 6-man tag team fight. So he was very impressive. And yeah, I really got nothing more to say. So solid match, solid thing that he did, nothing more. And yeah, Florio, it's yours.
And MF, keep your mic on. You'll be leading off this next match. And we had an MF special earlier with Sin Cara and Andrade. Well, this was a Tony special right here. Monday Night Raw's frontline soldier, the Universal Champion, Seth Rollins, one-on-one with the former standout of 205 Live and a young man who I have been beyond high on since day one, Humberto Carrillo. Non-title match, of course. Winner of the match in about 12 minutes. It was the Universal Champion, Seth Rollins. MF, Humberto Carrillo. Welcome to Raw. Your first match, albeit non-title, was against the Universal Champion. Wow.
Yeah, and a very impressive performance by Humberto Carrillo. He did really good. But obviously, they're gonna let Seth get over. If he didn't get over, there would have been a major problem there. But it was a solid fight. I could give this another 3-star match. Solid performance. First night on the job, and already I think he's gonna have a very bright future, especially in WWE. So no, Humberto Carrillo, very, very, very impressive. It was a little bit of a disappointment that he lost, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do, and there's really nothing more to say. So yeah, Anthony, it is all yours.
Second best fight of the night for me. This was 3.5 stars. Fun and interesting match with Rollins coming across frustrated and perhaps even heelish at times. Carrillo had a strong first showing on Raw, even if the live crowd wasn't all that hot for the match. Come on, Cleveland, what's wrong with you? But anyways, I wonder if the logic of putting Seth in this match was to have him in there with a fellow babyface so that if he was booed loudly, there would be an excuse for it. But this was a fantastic match. I mean, Seth Rollins, his body of work speaks for itself. And Humberto Carrillo, who I believe has a very bright future ahead of him. I was kind of hoping they would have put the Cruiserweight Championship on him at some point in 205, but unfortunately that did not happen. But very pleased with the outcome. That's all I can say on that. Or no, I should say very pleased with the match. So, yeah, that would have been awesome if Carrillo had gone over. I would have loved to have seen that myself, but obviously not quite that ready yet. But at least they made him look good. That's all I can say. Main event of the evening. Now, it was supposed to be a 6-man tag team match with all 3 members of the OC against the Street Profits and a mystery partner of their choosing. Did not happen. It ended up being a regulation tag team match. Street Profits against Gallows and Anderson, AJ Styles in Gallows and Anderson's corner. But when all was said and done, the winners of the match, 13 minutes and 5 seconds, the Street Profits, with help from Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, once again, property of Monday Night Raw. He shows up and they take out, and he distracts the OC long enough for the Street Profits to get the win. Another solid match here. Nice debut for the Street Profits. I guess we were mistaken in thinking that they were going to have the 6-man, or they changed it before the show, as that would explain why Styles kept talking about the Profits not being able to find someone to watch their backs. But despite that confusion, it was a good night for Ford and Dawkins. And, you know, it was a solid match. Another 3, maybe 3.25 star effort. So great way to start the Raw future for the Street Profits. Maybe within the next year or so, I could easily see the Street Profits becoming the Raw Tag Team Champions. After all, they are former NXT Tag Team Champions. So that's really all I can say on that. It was a solid match, and that gave us 4 quality matches of 3 stars or better on this night. I consider that a major accomplishment. On a Monday Night Raw, nonetheless, well done. 3.25 stars, another quality match. So nothing more to say. MF, Street Profits, they get the win. They knock off Gallows and Anderson. Kevin Owens went after AJ. Looks like we got another Kevin Owens, AJ Styles U.S. title program, only this time on Raw.
Yeah, it looks like that. Solid performance, no doubt about it. 3 stars for me. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 4 quality matches, about 3 stars in length for Monday Night Raw. I mean, that's you don't get that very often, Florio. So definitely embrace that. Definitely very good to say for the very least. And yeah, nothing more to say. Let's move on.
And it's our overall review of this edition of Monday Night Raw and MF. All I can say is you guys and gals of SmackDown, for the first time in a while, I could put you boys on notice. What a show.
Yeah, it was. I'm going to give it 8. 8 out of 10. I think when you get 4 quality matches like you did on that show, now there were some cutouts, no doubt. I think we definitely have to tamper it a little bit, but 8 out of 10. I don't think there's much of a disagreement here. So Anthony, it's all yours.
Yes, absolutely. 7.5 to 8. I think that's the correct rating for this edition of Raw. Like I said, it was a good night for Ford and Dawkins, as well as for Humberto Carrillo. Nice to see some fresh faces showcased, and to get more quality matches than cutouts. That's a win. That's all I can say on that. 4 quality matches. Fight of the night, hands down, was Drew McIntyre and Ricochet. Second best fight, I would have to give it to Seth Rollins and Humberto Carrillo. Toss up for the third best fight. I would probably have to give it maybe a slight edge to the main event, and then Sin Cara and Andrade, solid action as well. And then throw in that fantastic segment with with Rey Mysterio, Paul Heyman, Shelton Benjamin, and Cain Velasquez. That came out really well as well. And Ric Flair's opening promo at the beginning. Yeah, there were some issues, but other than that, very, very pleased with this edition of Raw. We only had 3 cutouts: the god awful Lashley, Rusev, Lana love triangle angle, and then those couple of squashes with Aleister Black squashing that Hammerneger and the Viking Raiders squashing Hawkins and Ryder. So that's really all there is to say on that. So yeah, 7.5 to 8, and for the first time in a long time, I can say very proudly, Friday Night SmackDown, Mr. Fox, you're on notice now. So FS1, you boys and gals better bring it in Kansas City Friday night. So or else for the first time in a while, Raw's actually going to win the war for the week anyways. So very, very pleased. Well done. So more of this, please. More matches, more Raws like this, please. That's all I ask. Now we move on to a very special edition of the Tony's Take. Of course, my traditional 205 Live and Impact Wrestling recaps, and then I will share the exclusive results from the Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory pay-per-view. And let's get into 205 Live first. And Drake Maverick announced the deal before the show with William Regal and NXT, noting that NXT stars will be performing on 205 Live. And he also wished the former stars of 205 Live that are on the main roster, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. The Brian Kendrick went up against Jack Gallagher. The Brian Kendrick wins the match. 6 minutes, 15 seconds, 2.5-star match. Solid match, but Kendrick is really bland these days, while Gallagher is much better, but he has been constantly booked like crap, honestly. The Singh brothers in a squash match. That's all I can say on that. I really didn't care. Triple threat. Then we had a triple threat match: Tony Nese, Oni Lorcan, Arya Daivari. Tony Nese winning it in 19 minutes. 2 3/4-star match. Hated the layout here. Too much one-on-one with one guy napping on the floor. Laziest triple threat cliche of all time. I feel bad for the cruiserweights at this point. Some of them are obviously still working hard, but nobody cares. Daivari was bad. Nese was pretty good. Lorcan was great, so this was pretty good overall, but the atmosphere was completely dead for it. 6 out of 10. Solid at best, but unfortunately it felt like a dying show. I mean, ever since this whole SmackDown move thing, 205 Live has really suffered. I mean, once upon a time, it was the best show out of all the TVs, but now it's going down. It's starting to get Monday Night Raw bad, even though this Raw was great. But damn shame, man. But it is what it is, you know? So 6 out of 10 is the best I can go. Sorry. The go-home edition of Impact Wrestling, the final Impact before Bound for Glory, and we started it off with Michael Elgin squaring off against Falaba. Michael Elgin wins the match, 8 minutes 20 seconds, 2 3/4 stars. Pretty good match here as Elgin probably wins ahead of the pay-per-view match. Falaba continues to be a lot of fun. That's all I can say on that. And then from there, was it this non-title matchup? Yes, it was. X Division champion Jake Crist against Chris Bay. Jake Crist wins the match, 12 minutes, 18 seconds. 3-star match. I love Chris Bay. He's getting a look from a lot of companies these days. He's got a ton of potential. They had a good match. Bay got some time to shine, but Jake rightfully won in the end ahead of his big X Division match, which we'll get into in a moment. Rich Swann versus Josh Alexander versus Rhino. Rich Swann wins it in 6.5 minutes. 2.5-star match. It was solid, but terribly rushed, and the layout was not very effective. It ended up as an okay bill for the pay-per-view match. X Division ladder match qualifier. Sabu against Rohit Raju, and it ended in a double countout in 4.5 minutes. 1 star, worst fight of the night. Bad, slow, sloppy match. Horrible finish. And then this battle royal. This battle royal, whoever wins would be number 20 in the Call Your Shot gauntlet. Mahabali Shera won the match in 9 minutes and 5 seconds. Actually, this was the worst fight of the night. This was a dud. This was not good. It was slow, disjointed. Crowd was really dead. It felt like a house show battle royal, honestly. So that's all I can say on that. This was a 5 out of 10. This go home show for Bound for Glory, rather disappointing show. No energy, no real sense of urgency or any of that. The formatting and the layout felt off as the middle of the show really dragged with tons of video packages and throwback highlights, which killed the flow of the show. Second half of the show then failed to deliver, closing out on an extremely flat note for a pay-per-view go-home show. And the last 2 weeks of TV have not been effective to sell that show. And thankfully now they're off the Pursuit channel, so now they're on Access TV. They did this preview show tonight, which I caught most of, and it was a newsworthy show, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not saying it was the greatest show or anything, but it actually was solid for what it was. So that's really all I can say on that. So this Impact show, this Bound for Glory go home, that was a 5 out of 10. So sorry about that. So now I'm about to give you all now the exclusive results from this past Sunday's Bound for Glory pay-per-view. This is not going to be a review. I didn't see the show, honestly, but what I am going to do is I am going to give you the results of it, and that's all I can really do. So I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do for this. So without any further ado, it took place from the Odeum Expo Center in Villa Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. So here's how it was. They actually taped 2 dark matches, and they actually aired these dark matches on the Impact preview show on Access TV tonight. So Madison Rayne went over Shotzi Blackheart. I saw that match on the show, as well as a 6-man tag team match with the Rascals against 3 of MF's all-time Mexican favorites, Dr. Wagner Jr., Aerostar, and Taurus. But it was the Rascals who went over. Now to the main card. The Bound for Gold gauntlet match, where the winner could choose any championship match of their choice. Winner of the match in approximately 30 minutes, Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards wins that gauntlet match. Knockouts championship on the line, Taya Valkyrie defending against Tennille Dashwood. Winner of the match in 11 minutes and 50 seconds, and still the Knockouts champion, Taya Valkyrie. Triple threat match for the World Tag Team Championship, the North defending against Rich Swann and Willie Mack, and Rhino and Rob Van Dam. Winners of the match in 14 minutes and 20 seconds, and still the World Tag Team Champions, the North. But a surprising heel turn. RVD turns on Rhino. RVD turning heel. Very surprising at this stage of his career, but we'll see how it goes. Michael Elgin went up against Marufuji. Michael Elgin wins the match, 18 minutes and 5 seconds. And then this intergender ladder match for the X Division Championship. Jake Crist defending against Ace Austin, Daga, AC Romero, and Tessa Blanchard. Winner of the match in 17 minutes and 40 seconds. And new X Division champion. Not who you thought. You thought I was going to say Tessa Blanchard? No, it was not Tessa Blanchard. It was Ace Austin sneaking in the door and becoming the new X Division champion. Moose one-on-one with Ken Shamrock. Moose wins the match, 10 minutes and 35 seconds. And then the main event of the evening for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, champion Brian Cage defending the title against Sami Callihan in a no disqualification match. Winner of the match, 16 minutes and 50 seconds. And still the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, the Machine, Brian Cage. He gets it done. And those are your results from Bound for Glory this past Sunday night. Now, I do have some thoughts. I actually do have some thoughts about tonight's preview show that aired on the TV. Madison Rain defeating Shotzi Blackheart, 9 minutes and 40 seconds. That was a 2.5-star match. It was a solid match. It felt a bit off near the end, but it worked overall. And then we had, and then in the other match, it was the Rascals against Taurus, Dr. Wagner Jr. and Aerostar. Rascals winning that, 9 minutes and 50 seconds, 3 stars. Good and fun trios match there. It was a good introductory special, running down the pay-per-view, introducing some of the main players, setting some things for next week. The Access TV studio stuff was beautifully produced, and I hope that translates to the next TV being taped this weekend. So, a couple of things. Two things have been announced. 2 matches have been announced. Marufuji is going to go one-on-one with one half of the World Tag Team Champions from the North, Josh Alexander. So Josh Alexander will fight Marufuji next Tuesday night. But this is the big one. We're going to have a return match for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Brian Cage, Sami Callihan, one more time, only this time it's inside the confines of a 15-foot high steel cage. Oh, get ready. The Machine and Sami Callihan, World Heavyweight Championship inside a cage. And so much more. That will go down next Tuesday night when Impact Wrestling premieres on its new home, Access TV. So that's all I can say on that. And that will put the bow on this special Tuesday night edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We apologize once again for the inconvenience on my end. I pray to God that this nonsense is going to be cleared up once and for all, and I'll be able to host on my laptop once again. So until then, I'm going to have to keep joining via my phone here, which runs very well, by the way, and I'm grateful to have it. So good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Let's set the table tomorrow night, Wednesday Night Mayhem. We got NXT and we got AEW Dynamite.
Exactly, and it's going to be 10:30 Eastern, as always, right here on this very channel. So it'll be myself, Anthony Florio, maybe Michael Bullock, we don't know, but 10:30 Eastern, and we'll have, like he said, NXT and AEW. So until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Anthony, take it home.
Yeah, certainly will, MF. Tomorrow night, 10:30. That's the story on that. And then Thursday night, same time, 10:30. It will be College Football Thursday. And boy, howdy, we got some great matchups for you all. We have a triple main event. Wisconsin against Ohio State. Auburn against LSU. And then, of course, Notre Dame and Michigan. I mean, those are the 3 big ones. There are some other good games as well. I mean, a couple of other notable games. SMU against Houston. But that's a Thursday night game, but we're probably not going to get into that. Penn State against Michigan State, always fun. Texas against TCU. Maryland against Minnesota. Boston College, Clemson. California, Utah. Washington State and Oregon, just to name some of the games we're going to get into on Thursday night. And then Friday night, of course, Friday night Cerebral Smack Talk with MF as we run down Friday night SmackDown. If there's a Mikey's Mindset, I know he'll get into that. And then Saturday night, NFL Saturday. So, and then, of course, next Monday, we do it all again, Ridiculously Raw on the whole 9 yards. So that's it. A special thanks to good old MF Michael Fletcher for hosting us here this evening. I wish it was under better circumstances, but this URL phishing BS has gone on long enough, and I am hopeful that this gets resolved once and for all. And, I'll keep you up to date on it as soon as I hear anything. I emailed the representative, and hopefully they'll get back to me soon enough. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for Wednesday Night Mayhem with MF, right back here on Braves Fan 95, you've been watching this special edition of Ridiculously Raw right here on good old MF Michael Fletcher's channel, Braves Fan 95, on YouTube, and StreamYard.com. And as I always say, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Wednesday. And until tomorrow night, you've been watching this special edition of Ridiculously Raw right here on Brace Fan 95. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.